Interface Video, in cooperation with Fairfield Federal, presents Fairfield Today. Brought to you by Fairfield Federal Savings and Loan, Fairfield Medical Center, Fair Hope Hospice and Palliative Care, the Frankie Smith Funeral Home, Fairfield County Adam H., Dagger Law, and the Fairfield County Board of Developmental Disabilities.
Hello friends, and welcome to Fairfield Today. I'm Paul Jackson, your host. Thank you for joining us. We're back at it here in 2022. Glad you're with us. We're again pleased to be in the lobby downtown of Fairfield Federal. And it's a little snow outside as we tape today, but it's Ohio. It's January, almost February. This is the way it's going to be in Ohio. We know that. So we thank you for joining us today. Our first guest, and I did a little bit of research. I try not to do much of that. It's a lot of work, so I try not to do much of that. But I looked up orthodontics, what that meant. And our guest will tell us exactly what it means, but I looked up, and it sort of means, in my mind, the practice in dentistry of misalignment of teeth, irregular teeth, and braces, but not only braces, lots of other things. So let's get the real word on that. I'd like to introduce Dr. Andy Connor. Dr. Connor, thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Paul, for having me.
Good to have you. How close am I on orthodontics?
Pretty close.
Yeah?
Yeah, pretty close. It's a subspecialty of dentistry. Ortho means to straighten, dontics, teeth.
Okay. Says it all.
It says it all, right.
I was looking on your website. Got a nice website too. Very intuitive, very interactive. I mean, I think it's easy to move around there. Got a lot of information on there. If anybody wants to look that up, we'll give you the information. But one of the things I've noticed is you were not a local boy at one time. Where did this all start for you?
Right. So born and raised east side of Columbus.
Okay.
Went to Miami of Ohio. Sorry, Paul. Big rival there.
No, too bad you didn't get a formal education.
You may want to throw me out. From there, went to High State Dental School, and then got my ortho training at WashU in St. Louis in 1983. 1983 was a big year for me. Got married, graduated from WashU, and set up my practice in Lancaster.
Wow.
Yeah,
and
big
life moved on quickly from that point.
Yes.
So fast forward to here. So you at that point already into dentistry. What was there some point in your life where you decided that's what you wanted to do, or you thought, well, I got to do something? Maybe dentistry is it?
Yeah, I was really fortunate. When I was eighth grader up in Columbus, I got braces, and Dr. Aldridge was my orthodontist, and I went in there, and I just liked the whole vibe. I was sitting in.
Interesting.
Yeah, I was sitting in there, and he had 3 chairs, and as he just walked around and was talking to his patients, and then bending wires and working with his hands, and as I saw my treatment get better and things were changing, I just said, this is something I want to do. So I'm very, very fortunate that I never wavered. I mean, 8th grade, going through tough classes, I never thought I'm going to do something else, and I never changed.
Interesting.
And I kept the nose to the grindstone and
pushed your way through.
I did.
That's a great story. So how does that translate to coming to Lancaster?
That's another.
Because what's it been, 39 years?
Right, 39 years. So when I got out of Washington U in St. Louis, I wanted to come back to Ohio. I wanted to be around Columbus. I wanted to teach. I actually taught at the dental school for 10 years. And then started looking at, a good place to practice. In a smaller town, I thought I could get a better start.
Sure.
In a smaller town.
Sure.
And looked at a lot of small towns, and always knew Lancaster with the charm and the history, the size, close to Columbus. I thought it'd be a good place to start, and it's been a very good move for me, and I've been very, very fortunate.
Well, it's good. 39 years, you're still an outsider, but
yeah, I know.
and you never will change from that. I'm sure people tell you that all the time.
Right.
You're not a local, Andy. I'm sorry.
Right.
So you're into dentistry. You've gotten into orthodontics. Was that how you opened your practice with orthodontics here?
Right.
Okay.
Right. So when I got out of ortho school, went to hung the shingle there at Dr. Monger's building on Main Street.
Is that did you go in with him or replaced him?
No, he had a medical practice down on Main Street, and he had a little office to rent, and I just hung the shingle there and started. I didn't know anyone in town. I didn't know a soul and started from scratch, and little by little built the practice.
Dr. Monger, everybody remembers that name. If you've been around any length of time, Dr. Monger, one of the medical doctors in town.
Yeah.
So you've taken that up, and I would guess in the 39 years you've done this, you talked about when you were a kid, you liked the way he bent the wires, he did that. Long way from there to here today. I mean, super changes in orthodontics. You've seen it.
Right. It seemed like in 1983, when I graduated, there was a lot kind of changing. The profession is 100 years old. So in 1983, some of the things were changing. Back years ago, it was taught in school that heavy forces is what you needed to move teeth. And it was very common for patients to complain how much it hurt, and we thought we were doing the right thing. Well, back in 83, things started to revolve to lighter forces is actually better.
Really?
It's better on the teeth, it's more comfortable for the patient. So that's one of the big changes that I saw as I was going through, that things started going to lighter forces. The other thing that started changing was the cosmetics of it. They wanted to make it more appealing, so they went from bands, which were the rings around the teeth, to a bracket system that the brackets were cemented on the teeth, a lot smaller, not as metal looking. They went to clear braces, they went to white wires. They tried to make it more cosmetic, and I think that really was a big push.
People more accepting.
Yeah, exactly right, exactly right. And then the other things that have changed over the years is the technology has gotten a lot better. So the wires are better wires. The brackets are better brackets. They're more low profile. It's becoming
smaller,
a lot more
lighter,
comfortable.
and still do the job.
Yeah, a lot more comfortable. The other thing that's changed too in 2000, scanners, instead of years ago, and you can talk to the mothers and the fathers that had braces, where in order to get an impression, they would have to mix the stuff up in a bowl. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, starting in 2000, we started using 3D scanners, which totally takes that out of the equation.
Oh, I can see that. That sticky stuff in your mouth is.
No, it's not that anymore. Right.
No.
Right. And then from there, what's evolved is into Invisalign.
Now that's a brand, a type of brace.
It is.
Which obviously is all this neutral colors and not as much show.
Well, really what it is, it's nothing on your teeth. It's a series of aligners that you would wear. And every 2 or 3 weeks you would put another aligner in. So
as things change.
Exactly right. So it's cosmetic, it's fantastic.
Yeah.
People can work out in public without that metal look. And that really has pushed the adult orthodontics. That's really gone up.
My guest is Dr. Andy Connor. Andy is an orthodontist here in town. Practice, 2 blocks from here maybe?
2 blocks. I don't have any reason not to get to work.
One light, you can make it. I mean, you make it to work because you live pretty close and you're pretty close here. Right. And that's, we talked about a lot of the changes. One of the things that really struck me is when I was a kid, of course, not everybody, but the people that got braces, they were the metal ones. They were all that, how it was. But the only people I ever knew that got braces were kids. I mean, every kid, not every kid, but kids got the braces. Well, now, I can remember years ago, it kind of struck, well, that's an adult, they have braces. Yeah, but you see so much more of that now for all kinds of different reasons, I'm sure. But adults are very much into this too now.
I think that the national average years ago was like 20% of people wearing braces were adults. And that has definitely gone up because of, I think, the push with Invisalign. And the adults too are thinking, besides cosmetic, it's good for maybe function and the health of the mouth. I think you'll see that as a trend with more and more adults. My oldest patient's 85, and that's not much younger than you, right?
No, that's hurtful. That's very hurtful. That's okay. We'll keep going on this. We won't stop the tape here and edit that out. But your time's coming. I remember that. You talked about trends. I mean, so when you got into it, it was probably still the metal things. You were still doing a lot of that. Now you've changed and you've moved to whatever the current thing is. Invisalign is the one you use a lot now. Where do you think we're headed in all this?
I think you're seeing the trend with more adults. I think that will continue to go up, more adults. I think the Invisalign will continue to become more popular. Invisalign it's got its limitations, but with adults, it's a good alternative.
Were they the first one to come out with what they do?
Yeah, so Invisalign is kind of like a generic name, and there's a lot of companies underneath them.
Okay.
And it's called aligner technology.
Mm-hmm.
They wear aligners, which are like retainers. So under Invisalign, there's probably 10 different companies that do that, and even some offices actually are doing making the aligners inside their office too, to kind of save on cost.
That's one thing. I was watching TV a while back, and I guess I wonder why I even have to come to you. I mean, I can do this myself. I order something,
Right.
Amazon will send me some things in the
Right.
mail, and I can
Right.
do all this myself,
Right.
almost
Right.
like I'm a dentist.
Yeah, right. And that's
How's that working out?
Yeah, that's. I think it's a little misleading because, I'm sure there's some pros, there's some cons to it. That is a trend that you're seeing on TV. A lot of quick fix places to do something like that.
Just like buying caskets through Costco, and now dental work through
right.
Amazon. I mean, that's
Right.
everybody's got an angle. Everybody comes up with an angle.
Right,
Yeah.
You're exactly right.
Yeah. So you think more and more we'll see adults
Yeah, I'd say adults
tend
too.
to that?
Right.
Some of them are cosmetic reasons, I'm sure, but
Right.
others maybe they're just things aren't just quite right up there.
Right, and I think there's a market for that.
Yeah.
If people don't want to spend the money on full orthodontics, that they just want to maybe something tweaked here and there, I think there is a market for something like that.
What's the age of a typical young person would come to you and need braces? Would that be, I'm assuming, maybe a junior high person?
Well, the American Association of Orthodontists recommends age 7 they should be screened.
Ooh, that's almost new in school.
Right, and just screened.
Screened.
Screened, meaning not braces, just screened. But I'd say the average age is probably 12 to 15 through there. You want to use the growing years. That can help you with your treatment. That's why most patients are in the growing years. It can make the treatment a lot easier, better result when you catch them in that age.
So your practice is right around the corner. What's the address?
131 West Wheeling Street.
131 West Wheeling,
Right.
Right across from the big parking lot right there. Just
Right.
You see it as you're going down the hill there.
Right.
Your website is www.connor, CONNOR, ortho.com.
Right.
And your phone number?
740-654-6030.
And I'm sure you're still taking new patients. You'd like to, anybody that has an interest in this,
Sure.
call up, and mom
Sure.
and dad can call up and just talk to somebody there,
Sure.
trained staff. I know, again, you have a great website, so it's interesting to look on there what's going on.
Thank you.
Because it's very, very easy to work with. So, Andy, thanks for joining us. Gosh, it's been a fascinating thing. Maybe we can do this again because we've
Sure.
probably even hardly touched the surface on
Yeah,
this.
right,
But
right.
great job, Dr. Andy Connor, with us talking about orthodontics. Good luck.
Thanks,
you.
Paul.
And again, I was mentioning to him, he's the third dentist I've had on, but the only one to talk about dentistry. We had others that they do other thing in the community. You coach, you do other things, so I get a lot of dentists on to talk about that. Fun talking about dentistry
Right.
to you. Thanks.
Right.
Dr. Andy Connor, thank you. We'll be back on Fairfield Today in just a moment.
Life is unpredictable. That's why estate planning is important. Estate planning provides you comfort and peace of mind knowing that you're taking care of your loved ones and ensuring your legacy lives on just as you envisioned. You lived a life that is beautifully and uniquely yours. You deserve an estate planning attorney who understands that and creates a plan as unique as you and in the best interest of your loved ones. You deserve the local, trusted, experienced attorneys at Dagger Law.
Fairfield Federal. When it comes to our customers and our community, we go above and beyond to help. Our people make the difference.
We were retiring from Tucson, Arizona, and we made a retirement trip out around Ohio, having decided that's where we wanted to be. And we came across this town called Lancaster, and we fell in love with the downtown area where the fountain is and the memorials and the flags and all this stuff. And we looked around and I said, there's our bank right there.
There's something to be said about a community bank in your hometown.
Right. If you live in the community, you should do business in the community as much as possible. So it makes sense to bank with the community bank where you live.
Fairfield Federal is the bank to be at. If you live in this town, or any town actually, you want to bank at a local home bank. And the employees are happy here, they're conversant, customer service is through the roof. There's nothing more you could ask for.
Personal or business banking, whatever you need, we take it seriously because we know you do. Stop by today at any of our 3 locations and see why the difference is clear. Fairfield Federal Savings and Loan specializes in banking that revolves around you.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
The Frankie Smith Funeral Home and Crematory in Lancaster and the Johnson Smith Funeral Home in Baltimore have a long and wonderful history of serving our community. Feel free to give us a call at 740-653-0652. Stop in and see us at either of our 2 locations, 405 North Columbus Street in Lancaster and 207 South Main Street in Baltimore. Respect for tradition, regard for change.
Fairfield Medical goes the extra mile to give attention to their patients, to their guests, anybody that comes within those doors.
There's no question that the staff there are all personally invested in seeing that I got the best care possible.
The staff was so comforting. I felt like she was in the best hands.
They basically gave me a second chance at life, and I'm going to make the most of it.
Welcome back to Fairfield Today. Thanks for joining us. We certainly want to thank Dr. Andy Connor coming in and give us a primer on orthodontics. Interesting. Like I say, maybe we can get him back on sometime because obviously he's a wealth of knowledge, a super guy, and we enjoyed talking to him, so we appreciate Andy coming on. Going to change gears a little bit now. We're going to maybe stay in, if you can call that the health field. Maybe you can, doctors and stuff like that. We're going to talk about health here in Fairfield County and the Fairfield Community Health Center. I think that's a name that maybe you're familiar with it, and maybe not everyone is familiar with it. I know the first time I heard it, it was a hard time for me to get it through my head. They're not the health department. That's the way I had to work with that. And we've got the young lady on that will tell us all about that, the CEO, Chief Executive Officer for the Fairfield Community Health Center, Lisa Evangelista. Lisa, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Made it over here, and
Made it over
no
here.
problem. Slip sliding away. You're here, and
yes.
Like I say, when I first heard about the Community Health Center, I guess I didn't even know what it did. I wasn't aware, and because the only thing I did was know about the health department because I had a lot of dealings with them. But you're kind of, as my dad would say, the same thing, only different.
Well, yeah, we actually came out of the health department.
Yeah.
And so originally the health department ran us as a health center until we got our funding from HRSA. Then we split completely off from the government, and we became a federally qualified health center, nonprofit.
Okay. So nonprofit.
We're a nonprofit, and we actually provide health care for everyone in need. I mean, we don't turn anyone away. If you don't have
insurance, not insurance, there's no
Self-pay.
reason anybody would get turned away.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. And I think that is what sets us apart from everyone else.
Sure.
And we want to treat the whole person. So we have behavioral health, we have primary care, and I think it's a very good system.
I want to give a shout out and a plug to my buddy Troy Hampton.
Yes.
Dr. Troy Hampton is your medical officer there, and I'm sure he does just a dynamite job because he is a dynamic person.
Oh, he does. He does wonderful. And actually, he was key in creating our space up at the school, South School, which we'll be moving in hopefully at the end of this year.
We're going to talk about that. So as of now, you have 3 locations. You're out on East Main. You're out at Hunter Trace in the office out there. You can sort of see it as you're driving by there. And then in Baltimore?
Baltimore.
Those are your locations.
Yes.
And you have a mobile clinic now, which is something new since we've talked, and we'll get into that. But I wanted to start out with How'd the pandemic work for you? I mean,
well, it was challenging. I think everybody. I think when it 2 years ago almost. Can you believe it?
Yeah.
But I'll tell you what, having Dr. Hampton there, providing that stability, the calmness, trying to keep up with what the CDC was saying.
Good luck with that.
Yeah, and so we very quickly put out a protocol that said, okay, this is what we're going to do. We actually shut our 2 satellite sites down immediately and went to telehealth.
Yeah. And
we seen people in their cars for about 3 months. HRSA, the federal government, was very proactive and gave us funding so we could keep our doors open. That is one of the funding streams we used for our van. Testing, vaccinations. So, I mean, it was a challenging time, but yet we were supported. And we were able to see our patients and continue providing care.
One of the questions I ask a lot of folks who had to make such dramatic changes as you did for that year and a half, maybe still do to some degree, is did you get anything out of that you still use? Because lots of people I found, they were forced into changes. They had never done them, but once they did them and now they don't have to do those changes as much, they thought, well, that's a better way.
Well, actually, remote working. We have an administration office across the street from the post office, and we're actually not renewing our lease and moving into the Main Street office because most of our administrative staff can work remotely.
Sure.
So that's going to save us money.
And that works for you.
And that works.
Yeah.
Our billing department, oh my gosh, they sometimes are more productive at home than they are in the office. Well, they're away from people talking and just stuff like that. No interruptions. Phone calls. I mean, they still get phone calls, but, it was a new world for us because, we did telehealth and behavioral health, but we didn't do a whole lot of telehealth and primary care. So that was another eye-opener. Maybe you can do some primary care telehealth, and we've continued to do that. Yesterday was a perfect example.
Sure.
Bad weather, a lot of people called off, but they still needed to be at least talk to the doctor. We converted to telehealth. So yes, a lot of interesting things have happened over the last year and a half that we thought we would never do.
One of the interesting things, and you touched on it, was South School. You purchased that. It's been several years now that you've, and you're into that remodeling phase right now. But that's got to be exciting.
It's
that
very
is just
exciting.
a huge building over there. Again, I went to grade school there, so I know it's a big school. At least it was for me as a little guy. But what a nice setup it could be for you.
Yeah. Well, and we started. We broke ground actually the end of June.
Okay.
Of last year. And they have steadily moved along. It's been a little challenging with the pandemic and the supply shortages. Yeah. We were originally going to be in there by the end of summer, but I think it looks more like late fall, early winter. I'm hoping by the end of the year.
Sure.
So it would be great to be able to get in there. But it's very exciting because you actually can see process now. They've paved the lot with one coating so it wouldn't be so muddy, and they're starting to work inside. So it's starting to actually look like something's going on.
So when that's up and running, whenever that will be, hopefully sooner rather than later, you'll still have that, Hunter, Trace, and Baltimore. You'll still have the 3 locations?
Hunter, Trace is merging in.
Okay.
So our Lancaster locations will be in that building.
Everything, all your administrative, all your everything.
And then Baltimore will stay at Baltimore.
Separate. Very good. So I imagine you're zoomed out. I would guess you've done your share of Zoom meetings.
Yeah. It's interesting because I think our board, they were very good with the Zoom, but I think sometimes people just are tired of seeing everybody video. So we finally, there's a big enough space at the library, so we're meeting there monthly until we can get into our new building, and it's been good. I mean, we still Zoom too. I mean that's another thing that I never thought we'd be using so much of.
Yeah.
So I think it has its moments, but.
Talking with CEO Lisa Evangelista of the Fairfield Community Health Center. Now, what are the hours here of your clinics?
Okay, so the Main Street Clinic is open from 7:30 to 8 o'clock Monday through Thursdays.
Okay.
Fridays, regular hours, 7:30 to 5, and then on Saturdays they're open 9 to 1.
Okay.
And then our Hunter, Trace, and Baltimore locations are open till 6, 4 days a week, and then till 5 on Fridays.
Now, challenge here, your website is?
FairfieldCHC.org.
Very good, very good. It's a good website.
Yes, we just recently remodeled it, I guess is what you could say, and it's much more user-friendly. We really had to do that because what we did was with the vaccinations, we've lived and learned. And testing too. People wanted to be tested initially because we didn't have a vaccine initially. So we made our website much easier so people can sign up for appointments in case we have our van out, and we still have that out there. And for testing and actually for vaccinations.
Let's talk about that mobile van. That's a pretty cool addition to your whole concept of community health.
It sure is. We have one provider at Hunter Trace that does home visits, and he's always done home visits.
Okay.
So now he stepped it up now because he can use the van the times he's out there. The other times we use it to do testing, to do vaccination clinics. We did immunizations for the children last year when the health department was inundated with vaccines. We helped get some of the kids vaccinated for their just school shots. So it's been really good. We have become much better at collaborating with our community than ever before.
Sure.
And I think the pandemic has also brought a lot of people together for that purpose.
Sure. Have you still doing vaccinations?
Yes.
Appointments?
Appointments, yeah. We would prefer appointments, but we still have our walk-in. So from 5 to 8, we have walk-in clinic at Main Street. So they can still get them there as well.
So you do the vaccinations and the boosters?
Yes.
Got everything there?
We have everything.
Which kind, or all kinds?
I think we have all of them but Johnson & Johnson.
Okay, so which would be Pfizer,
and Moderna.
Yeah, okay. Else, anything I know we wanted to talk about that. You're still looking for help over there. You still need people.
We still need people.
And especially with the growing thing in the new
South
School.
Yeah, and what we're really looking for, and I think we have an interview, and I'm hoping it works out, we're trying to get a mobile clinic coordinator because that clinic has been so popular, and we had originally thought we'd only use it 20 hours a week, but
now
with
testing
standalone and vaccination,
somebody to really run that.
Yeah, to run it, and so we do need people for that, and we're always looking for certified medical assistants.
Sure. So the website again was?
FairfieldCHC.org.
And the phone numbers?
740-277-6043, and it takes you to a phone tree, and it'll take you anywhere you want to go.
Yeah. So again, insurance, no insurance, you're there for all that. And the last thing I wanted to hit on was I thought that was pretty cool, a brick sale. Over at South School, that's going to be moving along there?
Yes. We're trying to hit 100 bricks before we open. We're almost there. We've got about 30 bricks left. And what we're going to do is we want anybody that has gone there or
I'll call you up. Is that why I do call your number?
Well, you go on the website.
It's online.
It's online, yeah, and the forms are there. And what happens is we want bricks to walk up to the building for everybody that's gone there, and it's.
I'll be calling up because I like to have one on there. Again, I spent a couple of years early on there before they opened Talmadge School, but it was again, I have a lot of fond memories of the back 40 back there playing in the back, and the gymnasium there. Cub Scouts, we met Cub Scouts in that school, so a lot of good memories. South School. I'm glad that someplace like you is taking it over. You'll do a great job there. Again, when do you think, if everything works out?
We're hoping the end of the year, by December.
Wow. It'll be sooner than you think.
Sooner than we think, and we're hoping. So, depending on the steel delivery.
Good luck with that. CEO Lisa Evangelista of the Fairfield Community Health Center. You do great work over there. I encourage anybody to look up their website, call them up if you have any questions about it. They're a great place to go. They take care of everybody. Lots of different health things and behavior, and not only immunizations, but tons of other things you do
and
there.
We're always accepting new patients.
Sure, always accepting. So give them a call or look them up over there. Lisa, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you for being with us on Fairfield Today.
Interface Video, in cooperation with Fairfield Federal, presents Fairfield Today. Brought to you by Fairfield Federal Savings and Loan, Fairfield Medical Center, Fair Hope Hospice and Palliative Care, the Frankie Smith Funeral Home, Fairfield County Adam H., Dagger Law, and the Fairfield County Board of Developmental Disabilities.